The student we have created a program for is Sienna. Sienna is a 12-year-old female who engages in a high level of physical activity. This can be assumed by reading the World Health Organisation's recommendation of 60 minutes of physical activity a day. And so Sienna meets this recommendation. Sienna is from Camberwell in Melbourne. This area is of a high socio-economic status. This can be gathered from statistics from realestate.com, which state that the average cost of a 3-bedroom house is $1,870,000 and the average weekly rent for a 3-bedroom house is $640 per week. The fitness test used to gauge insight into Sienna's triple and long jump ability was the standing broad jump. This test is completed by having the individual jump as far as they can off both legs from a stationary position. This test measures muscular power, which is a combination of force and velocity. Muscular power is a factor that needs to be improved in Sienna in order for her to improve performance within the triple and long jump. In creating our fitness program, Laura and I took into account that Sienna was 12 years old, therefore we aimed to make the activities fun and engaging. We focused on implementing a range of quick activities to ensure that Sienna and her peers remained interested and attentive. At the beginning of the session, students are quickly debriefed on the fundamental movement skills that are to be worked on, discussing main muscles used and what is hoped to come out of the lesson. Students are then directed to undertake several warm-up games to increase their heart rate, to loosen their muscles, which will then hopefully avoid any possible injury, and to prepare them for movement patterns that will be used within the main body of the lesson. The first section of the main body is a circuit consisting of squats, one-legged step-ups, box jumps, and partner sit-ups. The squats, box jumps, and step-ups have been incorporated to improve Sienna's muscular strength and power in her legs. Core strength is also fundamental, so partner sit-ups have been incorporated into the circuit. The students will work in pairs and they will move around each station twice. There will be 40 seconds of work followed by 60 seconds rest. The students must complete as many rests as possible within the 40 seconds. Sienna will be challenged by attempting to beat the amount of repetitions that she completed in the first round. This rest period is critical to ensure that muscles have time to recover. They can then restore the oxygen to them, and this can avoid a high level of fatigue. A high level of fatigue is likely to cause a lack of form when performing the exercises and may result in injury. The second section of the main body consists of a relay. The students will be grouped into teams where they, one at a time, run through a course that consists of movements such as walking along the balance beam, quick feet through a ladder, hopping, and other movements. All of these movements have been chosen as they use similar movement patterns to those used in triple and long jump. By practicing these movements, muscle memory will be created to ensure that the triple and long jump become a natural movement. Activities such as walking along the balance beam and quick feet through the agility ladder require balance and coordination. Balance is defined as the ability to stay upright and in control of the movement. Coordination is defined as the ability to move 2 or more body parts smoothly and efficiently.
The activities involved in the circuit, our first one is the squat. So it'll be important to ensure that Sienna has the correct squatting technique to maximise the load in her legs and also to avoid injury. So Jamila will demonstrate the correct form for a squat. So the first teaching point will be to have her feet shoulder width apart. The second one will be, as she goes down into the squat, she should focus, a key teaching point will be to say as if she's sitting on a chair. This will avoid putting weight forward, and you can also say, try and put the back weight on your heels to avoid the knees going over the toes. Awesome. So the next one will be the box jump. It is important that the individual is aware of their capabilities to avoid injury. Attempting a box that is too high is likely to compromise form, and the individual, as in Sienna, may injure herself. So Jamila will demonstrate the correct form for a box jump. So deciding on the appropriate box for Sienna will be the first thing. The second thing will be to keep her feet shoulder width apart. Her legs will bend, and her arms and legs will move simultaneously up onto the box, and a quiet landing is expected. So a key teaching point will be to sound like a mouse, not an elephant. So the last one we have is a partner sit-up. We have chosen this as it's fun and engaging with their partner as they get to high five at the top. So the first key teaching point will be to tell Sienna and her partner to squeeze her belly button in. This will ensure that the core is engaged. So the arms will be straight. They'll slide up the thigh to avoid using her head for leverage, which may put strain on the vertebrae. And she will high five at the top and go back down and continue for 40 seconds. So the balance beam will be in the relay. So the relay has been chosen as it is competitive nature and is fun and engaging for Sienna and her peers, as well as another opportunity to focus on improving her muscular power in her legs and to improve her standing broad jump score. It will be important for Sienna to remind her that although the relay is competitive, form is the most important thing and it must not be sacrificed in order to complete an activity faster. The first one is the balance beam, which will be incorporated to concentrate on Sienna's balance and core strength. The first key teaching point will to tell her to look at a stationary point, and she may also use her arms for balance to avoid falling off the balance beam. It will be important to have mats underneath in case she does fall off as a safety consideration. So the next activity will be the agility ladder. This will be used to challenge Sienna's coordination. Can focus on similar movement patterns to the triple jump and the long jump. So a key teaching point will be to realise to incorporate 1 foot jump, 2 foot jump, some hopping and some fast feet movements. And the other key teaching point will be to keep her head up and avoid looking at her feet. The last one we have is the broad jumping through hoops. This will be incorporated into the relay. The hoops will be varied distances apart, some that will be more challenging to really push Sienna to concentrate on her technique in order to complete the jump successfully. So some key teaching points for the standing broad jump are to keep her feet shoulder width apart, bend at the knees, arms and legs propel forward simultaneously, and aim for the furthest possible horizontal distance. So, we have one more. Hopping is another movement pattern that will be incorporated into our relay activity. The aim will be to hop for distance rather than multiple small hops. These explosive hops will help improve Sienna's muscular power. So, a key teaching point to avoid fatigue will be to say do one leg on the way up and the other leg on the way back. And the other key teaching point will be to hop for distance rather than just small hops. The pedagogical approach for this session will be focused on the DEP method, which stands for demonstrate, explain and practice. The teacher will demonstrate the activities, so how to do all the activities that we have done today, especially the form, explain the correct technique and why it is important to keep the right form, and also explain the aim for the session to Sienna to increase her motivation to push herself through all of the activities. And the commencement of the activities is the practice. So some key considerations for Sienna. She is a 12-year-old student who has generally a high physical activity level. So this has been taken into consideration when planning our sessions. As she is not an elite athlete, her intrinsic motivation may not be as high as an Olympic long or triple jumper. Therefore, to ensure she stays motivated throughout the sessions, making them fun and engaging will be important, as long as only 40-minute sessions to incorporate fun and engaging activities and such as the relay. According to the Australian curriculum, it is expected that Sienna, as a Year 8 student, is able to use feedback and to improve body control and coordination when performing particular movement patterns. So this information has been taken into consideration when planning the sessions and explanations in regards to how much explanation is needed to avoid overloading of information.